Today I'll be doing my updated top 10 roller coasters that I've been on. The last time I made this list was in 2024, which was about a year ago, and since then I went out and wrote some new credits, so I thought it would be a good idea to do this list again. And my last thing to say, I do have some honorable mentions in Mako at SeaWorld Orlando, Hagrid's at Islands of Adventure, and Millennium Force at Cedar Point that just barely missed the list, but other than that, let's start with the top 10. Last place goes to Skyrush at Hershey Park. Even though this ride is in last place, my one and only ride was very memorable, even if it was a blur of insane forces. That first drop is truly special and very different from all other drops that I've been on. The initial drop is good, but there's like a hitch halfway down that just sends you into the atmosphere. It's so incredibly strong for the rest of the way down. Then you go through a simple but effective layout with 2 ejector hills and more airtime, and some turns mixed in with some solid G-forces. Then you finish the ride with a twisted hill and a straight hill with alright airtime and some more turns as well. A fun ride with some seriously strong airtime, and I didn't find the restraints that bad either. Next up is Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. This ride has so many unique elements, and the fact that they could all pack this into one ride is very, very impressive. You first have the Sidewinder with some great hang time and go straight into the swing launch. My favorite point of the ride pretty easily with 2 elite RMC level of ejector airtime pops and a good spike thrown in for good measure. Then the top hat is also pretty good in the back, and he whipped over that 95-degree drop, but in the back is where it's best. The front, it's just alright. You then finish the ride with a outer bank, which in my personal opinion, it's kind of mid, a 0G stall, which was great, and some more turns, and a final airtime pop. The swing launch is so elite and one of my favorite moments ever. It's seriously that good. 8th place goes to Orion at Kings Island. First ride that made my list last year and also made it this year, but I can say that even though it is still good, it's not as good as it was last year, if that makes sense. Many people might not have it as high as I do, but I just personally love the size and the uncommon elements that this thing has. The drop is a minimum top 5 that I've been on, and it feels like it lasts forever with some great flow ejector airtime. You then have some alright elements with the outer bank and the turnaround, but the second half is really good and where it starts to get going. You have a speed hill with elite airtime, another decent airtime hill, a sneaky intense helix that is sustained a pretty good amount, and a weird outer bank ejector moment. Overhated for sure, and it's still very fun. Back-to-back Kings Island rides and Diamondback lands here. Last year I had Orion over Diamondback slightly, but after some rides this year, I began to realize that I actually liked Diamondback a little bit more. In my opinion, the first drop is just as good, even if it's about 100 feet shorter, and the layout is way more simple, but just has so much more impressive airtime. Every single hill has some good floater/ejector airtime, depending on when you ride it, and it's so good and so very fun. That combined with the ending of even more airtime in the splashdown just makes it so much more memorable in my opinion. The ride can be slightly rough, but in my opinion, it isn't too bad to bother me, and I love this ride to death. The 6th spot goes to Stardust Racers at Epic Universe. The most recent ride that I've ridden out of everything on this list, and even though it is the newest, I say that it's pretty easily a top 10 coaster that I've been on. This thing is just so amazing in almost every single aspect. The ride has just an onslaught of some of the strongest airtime that I've ever felt to date. I was legit left speechless mid-ride since I thought I was about to get sent into the stars. It has some sustained pops in the first half with the top hat and some other hills, and in the second half, you get more low-to-the-ground airtime moments that are still super strong and unforgettable. Throw on some cool interactive moments, and that 0G roll makes it an amazing ride, with about the only downside being that the launches were just alright, but this has seriously some of the best airtime of all time. I'm being so serious. The top 5 roller coasters I have been on are all extremely close, all being at least a 9 out of 10 in my opinion, and I love all of them a lot. But the one that I decided to put at number 5 is Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion is here. This was the ride that I marathoned at the end of the day at my King's Dominion visit, and I also got some night rides as well, and man, this is one of my favorites. This thing might not be the most impressive thing to look at being it's not too big or anything, but with the limited space and size that RMC had, they sure did create one amazing layout. The ride starts with a barrel down drop, which some don't like, but I actually like a ton. Then you have back-to-back-to-back airtime hills with immense airtime. You go through some more hills and some outer bank moments like the trick track double down and the other outer bank, which are diabolically strong. You then finish the ride with even more airtime, and by the end, your thighs are just bruised, and that's what I love so much about it. 4th place on the list belongs to Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park. Funny thing is, after the first time I rode it, I really didn't like it a whole lot. Like, it was still good, but not amazing, but after a couple more rides, I started to appreciate it more and more. Wildcat has the elite mix of many inversions, if it's the huge underflip and 0G stall for hang time, or just the whippy rolls at the end. Then the airtime is just as intense as Twisted Timbers, being thigh crushing and having so many different moments like the straight hill or the double down. And speaking of the double down, this ride has some sneaky laterals, which is clearly shown in the double down, and it is nuts getting dragged from side to side and getting airtime, which is a very unique aspect to RMCs. Up next goes to Maverick at Cedar Point. Maverick lands at the exact same spot that it did last year, which not only shows how good of a ride it is since I wrote a lot of amazing new credits this year, but how good Cedar Point's coaster lineup really is. But aside from the slight glaze, this is probably the most intense overall roller coaster that I have ridden, since it has some of the strongest forces in about every facet. The first drop and 2 airtime hills are some of the most impeccably strong airtime that send you flying. Then the whippy turns after the first drop and the stangle dives, throw you from side to side so fast, it might just give you whiplash. It's that crazy. All of that and a powerful launch makes it a super well-roundedly intense ride. The runner-up goes to Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. Velocicoaster is really a generational coaster, man, because I don't know if we will ever see a roller coaster that can mix elite theming and elite thrill into the exact same ride ever again. Let's start with the theming, not only being one of the best themed roller coasters, but one of the best themed rides at Universal with the detailed queue line and Raptor paddock. And then the ride itself has some of the best roller coaster elements I've ever experienced, with multiple inversions like the Mosasaurus roll and 0G stall that are phenomenal. It also has some amazing airtime moments with the top hat and outer bank, as well as throwing in 2 amazing launches to just tack on the forces. It's seriously so close to my number 1, man, but it just fell slightly short to what is my number 1. For the second time in a row, Steel Vengeance is my favorite roller coaster that I've ridden. But I will say, riding other RMCs and seeing how those run did make me rethink about Steel Vengeance a little bit. Steve, no doubt, has the most airtime out of all rides that I've done so far, and this is a major reason why I like it. But out of the 3 RMCs that I've done, I would say it actually does have the weakest airtime compared to Twisted Timbers and Wildcat's Revenge. But aside all of that, the ride has it all, man. Airtime galore if it's sustained moments in the first half, or quicker back-to-back pops in the second half while riding in the structure of the coaster. It also has 4 inversions to diversify a little bit, and it's such a huge ride, being 200 feet tall and being so menacing. It's my GOAT personally, and I love it a lot. Thanks for watching. I'm glad I could actually get out to some new parks and ride some new credits this year, since they were all very fun, and I'm glad I could actually update my list. But in your opinion, what rides are too high or too low? But other than that, have a good day.